Hello, this is Michel Leviathan Sorbet, and this is a new episode of Wojennik TV. The Battle of Stalingrad is very often called the turning point of World War II on the Eastern Front. This was a titanic struggle, a titanic battle between the two major belligerents of World War II in the European theater, between the Nazi Germany forces and the Soviet Union. The Battle of Stalingrad was, without any doubt, a very costly defeat for the German forces, and it enabled the Soviet forces to pass to a counteroffensive. The battle is a subject of many war games. This is one of the most used topics in wargaming, and there are several very worthy titles about this battle. But one of the newest games covering this battle is a game published in 2018 by VentoNuovo Games called Stalingrad, Inferno on the Volga. This is a game published thanks to a successful Kickstarter campaign, which was at its beginning launched in order to raise 10,000 euros. In the end, the campaign closed with nearly 63,000. So the initial goal was reached and surpassed multiple times. The game is for 1 to 3 players. Its major mode, its most important mode is a solitaire mode, but it is also possible to be played cooperatively or competitively in a group of 2 to 3 players. The minimum age of the player is 8 years old, but it is a little bit higher. It's somewhere closer to 10 or 12 years, 12 years or higher. What is interesting is the time of play, because this game can be closed in 30 to 60 minutes. So when it comes to a Stalingrad game, this is something totally new. The author of this game is a well-known designer responsible for a lot of VentoNuovo games, Emanuele Sant'Andrea. In this movie, I would like to show you how the game looks, how the components enclosed in the box look like, and at the end to give you my first impressions after opening this box. So let's begin. Here is Stalingrad, Inferno on the Volga from VentoNuovo Games, published thanks to a successful Kickstarter campaign. On the box cover, as you can see, one of the most famous pictures from the time of the Battle of Stalingrad, representing Hauptmann Friedrich Winkler. On the back side of the box, we have a short description. We can read about the concepts of this game, the basic concepts of this game, and we can also find the description telling us that in the game we will find 4 game modes: a solitaire game enabling us to play as the German player versus a Soviet AI, one cooperative mode in which 2 players will play the German side against the Soviet AI, and finally 2 competitive modes in which we will play a 2 or a 3 player game. We can also take a brief look at the components which are enclosed inside, but rather than telling about them basing on this picture, I would like just to open the box and to show you those components. Now, at first we receive blocks, and those are wooden blocks, as you can see, in 2 colors, in black and red. As you might expect, the black ones will be used for the German side and the red ones will be used for the Soviet forces. We receive also some wooden blocks of a bigger size, as you can see, because we receive one big red block and one black. Apart from the wooden blocks, we receive also some wooden discs and some wooden cubes, which as well will be used during the game in order to track some information, to represent some units or some other information. We receive 2 bags in which we will be storing some elements. We have one with a tank silhouette and the second one with a sailor or with a marine represented on it. Then we will receive some cards, and there are two decks of cards, a German deck of cards and a Soviet deck of cards. They are, as you can see, with different backs. Here is the Soviet one and here is the German one. On those cards we will find, first of all, the major actors of this battle, so some officers, Wolfram von Richthofen, Hermann Hoff, we receive also Paulus, we receive Linden, and some additional cards representing, for instance, a Heinkel crew, or some Stukas, some pioneers, howitzers, etc. Those cards, as you can see, all with a colored picture from the epoch, so those will be extremely climatic and they will surely increase the chrome while playing this title. The second deck is the Soviet deck of cards, and here also we receive the major Soviet actors from the battle. So we receive Chuikov, here is Khrushchev, Zaitsev, the famous sniper, then also some additional cards representing, for instance, the Volga River Flotilla, Infiltration, AA, T-34, Dagin, etc. All of them, as you can see, with just a few information on them, but all with a colored, fantastic photograph from the time of the battle. Underneath, there are also some six-sided die, 6 to be precise, and also some additional elements. Here we receive a plastic factory which will be put on the game board, and we receive also two aircraft miniatures. The first one will be, as I suppose, the fighter miniature, and the second one of a bomber. So those are additional very pretty elements which are inside the box of Stalingrad. Underneath there are some documents, and let's take a look at all of them because there are 3 of them in fact. The first one is called Life and Death in Stalingrad, and here we have a description, a short description of the battle, so of the initial phase of the battle and of the reasons why the battle in Stalingrad took place in the first place. Then also some additional advices, some hints about both the German and the Soviet strategy. So this is a document which should be read by players who want to receive some additional tips on how to play the game. The second document is a very precious one because it's the historical dossier, which will depict the battle in a relatively long description with first of all the information about the reasons of the battle, as you can see, with a lot of colored pictures, with some maps depicting also the major belligerents, the officers which were the major actors of the battle, so Friedrich Paulus, Vasily Chuikov, Hermann Hoff, so those are the officers found also on the cards. Wolfram Richthofen. A nice part of this document is also the part covering the Volga River, which underlines the great importance of this river for the Soviet Union, for the appropriation of the city, and for maintaining the Soviet supply lines. And information about the snipers who were also very important belligerents during this battle, and also Operation Hubertus and Uranus. So a lot of information with also an explanation why we receive 3 maps in this game, because we do receive 3 of them. First of all, we receive the game map, as you can see, covered with some hexes. The second one is the naked map, which shows the same area in scale, but it doesn't show the hex grids. Instead, it shows the names of the most important areas of the city. And the third one is the collector's edition map, which is an additional map depicting a smaller part of the area, the city of Stalingrad and its suburbs, but not the outskirts. Now let's take a look at those maps. We will take a look at those maps in a few moments. The third document is the rulebook with the same box cover, with the same photo used as on the box cover. Inside we receive also the stickers, which should be applied on the wooden blocks before game begins. As you can see, not a lot of them. We receive some German stickers and also some Soviet ones, which all will be used during the battle. The rulebook is, as you can see, a rulebook of 20 pages with a lot of graphic additions, with a lot of examples. I believe that this rulebook is pretty well written because the game is not very complicated. It will also describe how the different game modes will work, the description of the card decks, etc. The different modes, as I said a few moments earlier, and you also have at the rulebook's back the Soviet artificial intelligence algorithm, which will help you to play the game and to look very quickly what the AI will do. And now the maps. The first one is a paper map, which will be the naked map. What deserves to be mentioned is that all of those maps were made based on aerial reconnaissance photos made by the Germans in August 1942. So they are extremely detailed maps showing exactly the same landscape, the details which were part of the actual terrain at the battle's beginning, before the German aerial raids began in August 1942. Now on this map, as you can see, no hexagonal grid, but some descriptions which will indicate what part of the city or of the suburbs of the outskirts we are currently studying. The second map is also a paper map, which is a game map, or the game map, which can be used. As you can see here, we have the same landscape but with hexes and with some circles, which will be used also to put additional blocks. We get also some additional tracks, for instance the German reinforcements track or the Soviet reinforcements track, which is somewhere at this map top. The very same map is also in a second version, and this will be the mounted game map, which will be the same as the previous one, but this time mounted. Now I won't be opening it because it is the same map that I have shown you a few moments ago, but look at how sturdy it is. It's the reason why this box is really very heavy, and this mounted map will increase additionally the quality of the elements that you receive and that you will be using during the game, so they will look terrific. Now, those are all the elements inside the box of Stalingrad Inferno on the Volga. Let's pass to a short conclusion. Stalingrad Inferno on the Volga is not the first game from VentoNuovo Games which I am showing you on our YouTube channel. I have already presented Blocks in Africa, a previous title from this company, and while reviewing it, I have given it a very positive grade when it comes to the components and the quality of what we receive. And the situation is absolutely the same when it comes to Stalingrad. The quality of the components is just terrific. I love the artwork of the maps, which are really very detailed, I love the fact that they were based on actual German reconnaissance photos done in August 1942. The playing area seems very interesting, the landscape very detailed, and I cannot wait to give this game my first play. The quality of the other elements, so the wooden blocks, the stickers, the rulebook is also very attractive. It is of high standard, as it is in all VentoNuovo games. So without any further delay, I am just opening the rulebook and I cannot wait to play the first game. I will give you my final thoughts about this title, a presentation of the rules of the different gaming modes in a future review. Up until then, I invite you to look at our other videos. We have some unboxings, we have also some additional reviews. Take also a look at our Instagram and Facebook accounts. I wish you a fantastic day and see you next time.